Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I want to give you a quick update on my use of Retatrutide. So Retatrutide is a triple GLP-1 agonist. It's similar to tirzepatide and semaglutide, which are both very popular for weight loss right now. They have been for the last couple of years. And so I've been taking Retatrutide for a little bit, and I'm going to give you guys an update on that experience. Before I get into that, though, obviously these products are not meant for human consumption unless obviously prescribed by a doctor. You guys can use the resources where I purchased mine. I have a link in the video description. That does not mean they're approved for human use, okay? So something like Retatrutide is in clinical trials still. I think it's in phase 2 or phase 3 of clinical trials right now in humans to be prescribed for weight loss. So the FDA is very strict on the rules and regulations. So the only place I can recommend you guys buying that is from your doctor, right? There are a lot of places you can buy it online, like the link in the video description. There are a number of resources there where you can purchase it for a greatly discounted cost, but that is coming from a research manufacturer. Okay, so it's a lot of times the same quality as you would get from your doctor, but it's a gray market way of selling it without having a prescription. Okay, so if you guys choose to use that, please be wise about doing that. Remember, when you buy it from one of those websites like the ones I recommend and where I buy my own products, they are not coming from an actual licensed pharmacy. Now, that being said, a lot of times these clinics that are prescribing GLP-1s are buying them from places such as where they come from for these other websites. Okay, I know a number of these website owners who sell to clinics and then they just relabel the product for the clinic, and it's the same product coming from the same manufacturer in the first place because it's so much less expensive when you don't have to go through big pharma. Okay, now getting that out of the way, I do obviously have my own brand, and I can't tell you guys to use that brand and use it on yourself because that would put me in probably prison for recommending you do that. So I will say, if you do buy from any of my resources below, they are not intended for human use, and don't use them on yourself unless you're being directed to by your doctor. Okay. Now, with Retatrutide, it's a triple GLP-1 agonist, right? So semaglutide and tirzepatide, I believe, are both single GLP-1 agonists. Retatrutide is a triple agonist. So prescription doses are, or what people are using anyway, are anywhere from 1 to 15 milligrams per week of Retatrutide for weight loss. I cannot even comprehend taking 15 milligrams. I've only used 1 milligram per week. I'm doing one injection on Saturday of 1 milligram, um, and it has just annihilated my appetite. Okay, so usually I'll inject Saturday. Sunday I have a very hard time eating. I just can't seem to get past about 10 bites of anything, and then I'm just like, oh, I'm just so full. Don't want to eat anymore. No, the first couple of weeks I did feel slightly nauseous if I ate, especially if I eat anything that's heavy, like a pasta with a cream sauce, for example. It's like that's just impossible to eat. Now, like I said, I'm doing 1 milligram per week. I don't know 100% what the half life is. I mean, there's the on paper half life, right? My own experience is that by usually Tuesday, I'm able to eat pretty decent again. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm able to eat like I normally would as far as hitting my calorie count goes. And Friday, I feel like I can pretty much eat what I want and however much volume I want. So that being said, I'm guessing the half life is somewhere around 3 days, maybe 3.5 days. And then obviously, as the amount of the retatrutide in the system is phasing out, as it's processing out of the body, the appetite is returning. So that's my own anecdotal report on utilizing it. I think a twice weekly injection would probably be more intelligent for somebody who's serious about losing weight. So if they're doing like a Saturday, Wednesday, or something like that, of a half milligram, that would probably be sufficient for most people. Now, that being said, obviously, I'm not, somebody in the 300 or 400 pound range. I don't eat a ton of food as it is in the first place. So larger people who have a bigger appetite than me are probably going to need to use more. But starting at a half milligram is probably the best choice in my own opinion, and that's what I would do if I had it to start over again. The 1 milligram for now is completely sufficient for reducing my appetite, and that's not what I was primarily interested in using it for. Like I said, it's not like I have a great appetite in the first place. I know probably one of the biggest things holding me back in actually growing more muscle is not eating enough total calories throughout the day. Now, if you're eating junk food, it's very easy to go in excess of your calories, right? When you're eating healthy, lean foods, it's very hard to eat enough to put on muscle mass. So, like I said, I'm down 13 pounds, basically 12.8 pounds in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 4.5, 5 weeks. Um, so that's a pretty significant weight loss. I do think that I have lost some muscle. I have one of those scales in the bathroom where you stand on it and it measures and tells you how much body fat, how much muscle mass, etc. According to that scale, I've lost equal amounts of muscle and body fat. Although I don't know if that's true. My strength is still right up where it has been before taking the Retatrutide. My my pants are feeling way looser in the belt line. Okay, so I know it's working. There's a visible difference in my body composition. My buddy was commenting on that last night. We went to a little Super Bowl party. He's like, "Bro, you look like you'd really leaned out a lot in the last few weeks." I was like, "Yeah." So it's definitely making a visual difference. As far as, I mean, this camera and this lighting is just horrible, but my shirt sleeves aren't really getting any looser. They're just not quite as snug. Overall, things aren't really fitting any looser in my muscular areas like my shoulders, chest, arms, right? But I do think that maybe I have lost some muscle volume. Now, that being said, it could be that I have, intramuscular fat deposits that are being depleted. And if that's the case, that would make sense why I'm looking smaller but retaining my body or my muscle strength, right? So I have about 10 pounds more to go to hit my ideal body weight. If my scale is accurate about body composition, though, I got about 22 pounds of fat that I want to cut off. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. I am planning to stay on the Retatrutide for a number more weeks. The primary reason I wanted to use it, like I said, though, wasn't for the appetite suppressant. I got sidetracked here for a second. Wasn't for appetite suppression because, like I said, I have a hard time eating enough as it is anyway. The reason I wanted to utilize it was for the glycogen control. So if I'm eating a meal where I have, let's say, um, a bunch of fast processed carbs like breads or pastas or rice or something like that, I don't want to have that retained as body fat. And one of the benefits of something like Retatrutide is being able to regulate that glycogen and the insulin and not have that convert into body fat right away, right? So when people are eating a high carbohydrate diet, it's very easy to gain body fat because you spike your glycogen levels, your insulin level goes up, and it drives all that glycogen into something. And fat cells are the primary place for it to go, especially people who aren't working out enough. Okay, even if you're working out enough, it can still convert some of that into fat cells and fat deposits because your body needs to utilize that. And so something like the GLP-1s help to regulate that glycogen and insulin reaction and slow or even completely stop the retention of that into body fat. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit in making a choice. My girlfriend's taking tirzepatide. It zaps her appetite pretty good. She does lose weight on it. She's taken it before. I'm not a big fan of tirzepatide or semaglutide personally. I haven't used either of them, but I know a number of people who have used one or both, and it seems like they both, everything's got its side effects, its downfalls, right? Um, I think tirzepatide is better than semaglutide, and I think retatrutide is better than tirzepatide when it comes to fat loss. Now, if I was morbidly obese, which I borderline am, um, anyway, if I was morbidly obese and I wanted to lose weight very quickly, I mentioned before taking SLU PP332, right? I took that before in the past. It's an exercise mimetic. So my thought would be that I would combine the SLU with the retatrutide and get more optimized fat loss that way. Now, with the SLU, I don't know realistically how beneficial it is for weight loss if you're relatively lean. Um, for myself, I hit the gym pretty hard 4, 5, sometimes 6 days per week, right? I have a treadmill at home. I'm on that pretty much every day. Plus, I'm hitting the gym, lifting weights 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, not 7, 6 days a week. I usually have a rest day in there. So I work out pretty hard, pretty consistently. And taking the SLU didn't seem to do much for me. Like I said, it's an exercise mimetic, so it causes your body metabolism and your muscle cells to think that they've had the exercise and to react in that way. So it's boosting metabolism. And overall, it's doing the same thing on a cellular level as if you had worked out. Okay. It has a lot of research behind it showing actual increases in cardio output over a 4-week period of time, I believe it was in the research, just utilizing the SLU, not actually working out. So if you're a sedentary individual who doesn't go to the gym, that might be something to look at. I don't know what the future holds for actually releasing it as a pharmaceutical drug. But if in the future you could get a combination of SLU and retatrutide on board, I could see somebody who has significant weight to lose and a very sedentary lifestyle benefiting greatly from utilizing both together. That's just my own thought. Once again, this is kind of, just daydreaming. I don't know, like I said, if they're going to be available publicly. Obviously, you can buy them on the gray market sites, but it's always best to have a doctor who is highly trained in being healthy in diet and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, overseeing it, right? So there we go. There's my little disclaimer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I will be doing more update videos soon. Recently, I changed gyms, so I found a gym that's actually closer to the house. They're better equipped, and they'll allow me to record. So I hadn't looked at this gym in the past because it's very, very small. It's basically like 2 garage gyms put together. Very small gym, but I think that in the long run, it's going to be a good choice for me. I've got a new workout buddy. We're going to be hanging out today and shooting some gym videos and doing some other stuff. So hopefully you guys can enjoy that content when I actually get it put out. And so I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.